I don't worry how others judge guys. We're just trying to get to know the pool ourselves. I was just talking to a group of guys yesterday, and last week was a big week for us. We went to Texas, Ohio State, and Notre Dame, for example. And so it's just part of our process, man, getting the complete totality of the process, getting exposure to these guys in as many places as we can. Started in Mobile for me. We had a chance to visit with a significant number of them in Indy, and now we're on the pro day circuit, and so we're going through our normal process. It doesn't appear to be devoid of talent. I like a lot of the guys that I've met, not only their tangible qualities, but their intangible qualities. And so I'm feeling really good about, the trajectory of the group and how we're going to place them on the board.
Mike, where do things stand with Aaron Rodgers today?
He's a free agent. As you guys know, he came to visit last Friday. We had a really productive day. He's been in this thing a long time. I've been in this thing a long time. But it's no substitute for, intimacy and spending time together and getting to know one another in a non-competitive environment. And so that was really good. But I don't have any new updates in terms of where the process is. We'll see where it leads us.
How unsettling is it, or is it, to not have this situation?
I'm really comfortable with being unsettled this time of year, to be quite honest with you. It's about talent acquisition. We got two main means of acquiring talent: free agency and the draft. We multitask. We do both. Those needs that we fulfill in free agency, we do so there, and when we don't, we fulfill it in the draft. And so I just learned over the years that this time of year, although day to day it could be somewhat uncomfortable, it is a process.
Following on that, what's been your sense writ large of all the quarterback movement this offseason? A lot of teams, yourselves included, a lot of money getting thrown around.
It's business in the NFL in 2025, man. A lot of ball obviously goes through that position. It can be reflected in the market and so forth, but there's a lot of talented guys out there as well, and the responsibilities that come with those jobs probably equal the money.
Coach, what's your perspective on the tush push?
I guess my real perspective is the player safety component. There's been discussions about the player safety component. It's why we took it off the field goal in terms of the field goal units. And so I think that's where the discussion will be today. I'm really excited about the discussion today. I'm open-minded. I'm anxious to see what everyone has to say. But the larger part of the discussion for us is around player safety.
Like, what about the kickoff and moving the touchback spot?
Thank you, sir.
Do you think that that's something that should and will happen?
We want to put that play back in the game. We want it to be an exciting play. And so all the things that we've done last year and even the discussions that we're having this year is about that and along those lines. And in general, I'm open to it.
Mike, you mentioned the meeting you had with Aaron Rodgers. Have you remained in contact with him? When was the last time you spoke with him?
I have, but I'll leave that between he and I.
Last year, this time you were saying that you thought there was a lot of meat on the bone left for Justin. What about that didn't particularly work out?
I don't know if any component of it didn't work out. He's a New York Jet. It's free agency. That's what this business is about. Had a really good experience with him. He's a heck of a guy and a heck of a talent. And we had a good experience together.
Mike, there's also a proposal about reseeding in the playoffs where division winners would not get an automatic playoff game. As someone who has been in this league for some time, how do you feel about that proposal?
I'm a division purist, to be quite honest with you. I love the rivalries that is division play. I love the structure of our scheduling that highlights it. I just categorize myself as a division purist. I think the division winner should get a playoff game and a home playoff game.
Mike, those games at the end of the 23 season for Mason Rudolph, did they change what you thought about him in any way, or maybe reveal something that you had thought before to be true?
I just think anytime you experience something with somebody, there's growth and acknowledged in that regard. And certainly, the way he smiled in the face of adversity and delivered for us was significant, but not that I was shocked by it or didn't think it was within, his framework of capabilities. And so we're excited about having him back, not only in terms of his talents, but the guy that he is. He's a really good teammate. He's a really good football guy.
Before he left a year ago, had he gotten a chance to spend any time
with Arthur in that month or two that before free agency hit?
Not of any significance, no.
Mike, what can the Giants expect as a player and a person out of Russell Wilson?
Man, Russ is class in every way. He embraces all that comes with the job, formal and informal. They'll get all of him.
And you know, you guys did not bring him back. What can be anything read into that? I mean, he had some success.
It's free agency.
Mike, how comfortable or uncomfortable would you be with Mason taking QB1 reps when you guys get out on the field?
That's why we brought him back. I'm comfortable with that, man. We've been there before. He's a very capable guy. Sorry, it's a little awkward.
Not a head.
You know what I mean? I hate to talk to you not looking at you.
It's awkward for me too.
Yeah.
Is it much of a change for Mason based off the old system and what Arthur's bringing in?
Certainly there's a change, but, you know, Mason's not a kid, man. He's been around. He's been in multiple systems and situations, and so I don't expect that to be a significant hurdle.
How important is his locker room presence? I mean, it seems like a lot of the guys do like Mason.
No, that's what I mean. He's a good football guy. He's a good teammate. You know, and that's one of the, you know, informal responsibilities of the job, if you will, to connect with your teammates and lead in a lot of instances. And all of that is a really comfortable, natural act for him.
Mike, is Cole Holcomb good to go? Cole Holcomb good?
Yes, he is. Training camp, yes.
On the tush push player safety, are you going to need, or have you already seen stats that say players get hurt more often than
You know, there's not a big enough sample size to point to the statistics, but, you know, I'm just, you know, I and everyone else are just listening to the perspective of the medical experts as opposed to, you know, statistics, because it's just not a large enough sample size in terms of the number of times the play has been executed, whether it's 2024 or just in general. A lot of other plays, you know, we got a much larger volume to choose from, 40,000 plays a year in football. I think it was, you know, 170 or so tush pushes, to put perspective on it.
Like I know
What's your
there's still
perspective
time
on expanding the replay assist to opening up to more things this year?
Yeah, you know, we're continually in discussions about how to infuse technology into our game for the better. And that's all any of these discussions around replay review and things of that nature are. How do we fluidly infuse technology into our game for the better, to make it more efficient, to make it more entertaining, to assist everyone in their jobs, whether it's players, coaches, officials, or whoever.
Mike, when it comes to the first push, have your first reviews changed at all over the last couple of years?
It has not, no.
So where do you stand?
You know, the first time I saw it, I couldn't believe that it was legal because it was illegal on the field goal. That being said, you know, you hate to be against it because, you know, when people are innovative, you want to respect that. And so there's certainly been some teams that have been more innovative than the rest of us in that regard, and you hate to penalize them for it. But again, we got into the discussion on the field goal block because of player safety, and so that still remains to be a component of the discussion.
But just to go back to Aaron Rodgers, I know it's early and you're okay with being unsettled, but is there a date or event at which you would like to have an answer?
I hadn't thought a lot about it. There is no drop-dead date specifically in my mind, no.
Is it your impression, are you able to say, is it your impression whether he actually intends to play and it's right team, right situation, or is that still to be decided?
I'm certainly not going to put words in his mouth or speak for him.
Did he give you any idea on when he'll?
We've had some discussions, but I'll leave you between he and I.
Mike, on those discussions, he made some news last year. When you do talk, I know you won't share the contents of your conversations. Do you text, do you call, or do you FaceTime?
All of the above. Interesting question.
You can look somebody in the eyes.
Yeah.
I know it's not on the agenda here, but there's been some talk about potentially the league wanting to add an 18th game to the schedule. Do you have any thoughts on that prematurely?
I just think they've been, I listen and hear like you guys do. I think it's been thrown about so much, with so much regularity. I think it's probably inevitable.
How do you feel like that would impact number one, if it happens before the CBA is open, then also player safety, everything like that?
You know, it's a lot of CBA-related discussions along those lines. It's not going to get done in a vacuum. It's going to be done in conjunction with other things to address maybe some of the things that you mentioned. But we're probably a little bit ways off from some of the intimate details of some of that secondary stuff.
It's been a while since you've been overseas. What have you thought? You know, anything you can take into going to Ireland this year?
I know I'm really excited about it, to be quite honest with you, because I just think about the late, great Ambassador Rooney and how fired up he would be about it. And so it makes me smile when I think about it. It's an honor to represent our game and our country over there, and I look forward to doing so.
Have you gotten any hints on the schedule for that?
I have no idea. We'll be there.
Mike, the other day, Troy Vincent was talking about the sportsmanship, the concern about it. He said that he used the word significant increase in violent gestures and taunting. Do you see that? What's your feeling?
You know, I just think we have a responsibility to show the younger players that play this game the right way to do so, the way to interact with your teammates, with opponents. And so that's not something that we run away from. It's something that we embrace. And really his point is just there needs to be a continued emphasis in that regard to highlight our responsibility.
Mike, what are some of the intangible qualities you look for in an offensive line coach?
You know, light on your feet, adaptability, the ability to adjust midstream, in-game are some core things that are important to me.
Are those qualities that you see carry over with Arthur Smith and his offensive line experience now being an offensive coordinator?
Certainly.
Mike, I'm sure you went over the last 5 games with a fine-tooth comb. Is there anything that stood out to you other than didn't play well enough and lost?
Yeah, you know, we played some elite teams and we weren't one of them, you know, and that's just a sober truth of this business. It's hard, but it's fair, and that's what I love about it. You know, you work all year in an effort to be moving at the right trajectory at the significant point of the year, and the reality of 2024 for us was as the road got narrow, we were not one of the elites, and thankfully for us, we played the elites, and that's something that I'm really interested in, because if you desire to be world champs, man, you want to measure yourself against the very best, you want to play the very best, you want to beat them. We had those opportunities, but we didn't get it done.
So that basically showed you where you needed to go in your eyes, or as an organization in your eyes?
2024 is 2024. You don't get do-overs, and I'm just, you know, highlighting how it transpired for us. I really don't move in 2025 in pure reaction